Okay, so we have our constructor here. Now, this is not wrong, right? In fact, if you're coming from a different language such as Java, you'll see this is very common and that's how you do it. However, the idea behind Dart is to simplify, make our language here very succinct, right? So we don't want to be verbose as we are in other languages. So Dart has this syntactic sugar, as they call it, which simplifies this whole process here. Let me go ahead and comment this out real quick. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the syntactic sugar constructor. Okay, what that is, well, we just go ahead and still say microphone, and then inside here, we just go ahead and say this dot name, this dot color, and this dot model. And ladies and gentlemen, that is this is the same as doing this. Oh, isn't that amazing? Look, just one line of code. If we go ahead, nothing has changed. If we run again here, we should see the same results. See, nothing has changed here. It's still the same, except what we've just changed is the way we actually construct our, put together the constructor here. In one line of code, we just pass this, that name, this, that color, this, that model, and we are there. Ah, very nice. So I would obviously prefer that we use this syntax here because it is the Dart way of doing things, and we should get into the habit of using the way the language allows us to. All right, so the next concept here is still going to be the same that we're talking about here, which is constructor. But now there's also what they call the named constructor. What a named constructor is that we add actually a name of that constructor. If you look here, you notice that these names are pretty much have to be the same. The name of this constructor has to be the same as the name of the class, which is totally fine. But there are times when we want to be more specific and we can actually create constructors with names. So you probably saw before, if you go Command N, they give this option of us to say named constructor. If you click enter, it gives us the opportunity to use one of these for the name. But I don't like that, so I'm going to just click out of that and say OK. Then I have the microphone.name. Somehow IntelliJ here gives us the name, first item that we have, first instance variable as the name that we want to add. But that's not really what we want, obviously. I'm going to say, give it a name, initialize, or something like this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give it a body because I want it to do something. So notice here what the idea of giving a name or using the named constructor is so that we can actually give some sort of initial values to certain methods or to certain variables, instance variables. So I can actually go ahead and say name is equal to, set it to Blue Yeti, just like that. And if I wish to do so, I can also skip the color and say model is 57, just like that. So now I can actually go back to our main here. I can go this way, or I could create, let's say, var mic second. I'm going to say is equal to new microphone. Look at that. I could either go the old way, which is that we just create a constructor straight like we did before, or I can just go ahead and use the microphone that initialize like that. And then if I said print, if I say mic second, look at this. I say dot model. Let's see what's going to happen. Notice that this setting here, these are two different objects that we've created, right? This first object, that's the old one. And the second object, we are using the initialize named constructor, okay? Using the initialize named constructor. Good distinction there. Let's give it a run and see what's going to happen. Right, we should see 67, right? Because that's what we said when we constructed we initialized our microphone constructor here. We said model is indeed 67. Let's say Blue Yeti second edition, so we can see the difference perhaps. Let's go ahead and say print mic second dot name. You should know already what's going to happen here, but nevertheless, there we go. 67 Blue Yeti second edition. Okay, so we've now created two types of constructors. We have, of course, the syntactic sugar constructor, which we just pass the member variables, set everything up, and we have created here the named constructor. Okay, which allows us to initialize any instance variable that we wish to initialize. Okay, and of course we have this old way of doing constructors, which we can still do it, but I would recommend to stay away from this, especially if you are focusing on Dart. All right, perfect. So this was a lot of information, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a review, folks, because that really helps other students, people who want to be part of this course, to see that, hey, this is a great course. Paulo's great, so let's all support him, okay? Perfect, guys, perfect. So go ahead and play around with this concept here, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.